Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Seattle Stitcher. My name is Megan. You can find me on Instagram as the Seattle Stitcher, or you can email me at theseattlestitcher@gmail.com. As I say, you are all very, very welcome here. So it's been 2 weeks actually since I filmed a regular Flosstube. If you didn't catch it, I did release my my 2025 whole year whip parade. I do plan to do like a finish parade as well as goals for next year, but I don't know when I'm going to film that. Probably a little bit closer to the holidays. And by holidays, I mean Christmas. That's what we celebrate over here, but happy Hanukkah if you're celebrating. I think that starts Monday, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but happy holidays to everybody. I'm so excited. I love this time of year. It's so cheerful and fun. But you guys know the drill. I like to just hop right in and get on to it. So if I have any starts, I always show those. But if I have a finish, I show that first. And I do have a finish this time around. So I'll have to pop it on the screen because I don't feel like digging through the bags to get to everything. But this book, the Sewing Club book by Blackbird Designs, you guys know if you've been watching, I absolutely love this book. It is so many good designs packed into this little $30 booklet. Totally worth it for me because I knew there was a lot more than 3 designs that I want to stitch. That's kind of what I base my books off of. Is I typically pay like, $8 to $14 for a single pattern. And so if there's more than 3 designs within this one book that was $30, totally worth it for me. So I did go ahead and I finished another small. I know I've mentioned in the past that I have, of course, been on this little journey of doing a pillows bowl, a dough bowl, whatever you may call them. And so I've been working with the same exact color palette, but adding colors as I go. So I did go ahead and I finished this one. And I absolutely love it. I actually did stay pretty true to the color palette for this one, as is for called fors. I either pulled the pinks from the existing stash that I had set aside to stitch these smalls in. Because if you've been watching, I have been using the same kind of color palette for all of these smalls so that they'll kind of go together cohesively. I think no matter what, they're cohesive because they're from the same booklet, but I wanted them to be a little bit more matchy-matchy, and I did decide to go ahead and make those changes by kind of altering the color palette. So it's a little bit altered, but not significantly. The house itself, I stitched in a bit of a brighter red. I think that's like country red or something like that. I know I do have the color palette, so I'll have popped it up on the screen, my conversion, but I really like this one. It turned out really cute. This is on a 36 count, or sorry, no, a 32 count that I over dyed myself, and I just made it like a very neutrally tan color. So nothing special. I just used taupe and pearl gray mixed together. So I would like do a wash of the whole cut of fabric in the gray, and then a wash in the taupe, and just back and forth until I was happy, because I wanted something that was like almost like Weeks Dye Works gray, but this one's a little bit warmer, not quite as, or sorry, it's a little bit cooler, not quite as warm. But yeah, love that. So I am happy with this finish. I did put my initial in the corner, the M up here. There's a few specialty stitches, just some smeared acrosses, I believe in this one. Yeah, just a couple, I want to say. I know there's one like up in this little motif here, but yeah, they're kind of sporadic throughout the pieces, I noticed in this booklet. So yeah, this one will be a fun little size. I think I might add like extra fabric on the bottom and maybe some kind of trim here, or fabric at the top and do trims or something. There is supposed to be like a little edging at the top that's like zigzags, but I think I want to add a pom-pom trim or a lace trim to this one, so I didn't want the border to be too busy. But that now makes it to where I have 3 finishes for my dough bowl. So I've got this little finish here, this one from the same, or actually no, this one's from the Autumn Leaves booklet, but also a Blackbird design, which of course is the same color palette. So you can see how nicely this is pulling together. And then my third one, which is definitely the brighter of the fabrics, is this one, which again, I pulled the same pinks to stitch the flowers in this one. So you kind of see here, these flowers are the same as this flower here, and so I've just matched them. And I love it. I think it's really fun. And I think that these are going to be kind of just ones that I can pop out all year round. I don't think that they look super seasonal. I mean, obviously this one's pretty bright, so it does look more spring leaning, but I feel like mixing it with some of these darker colors here, I we'll be able to get the effect of kind of an all year round little dough bowl. So love that, super excited about it. I just love this little finish. I love a red house though. You guys know that, I love a red house. And this house is fabulous. I love the little brown birds, it's so cute. And that's not the called for red, so I'll have popped up the conversion, but I just love that. So I'm really excited. That is my third finish for my smalls basket, and I can't wait to get that one going. I have been keeping all of my flosses, the ones that I'm not using for the next small, in this little dish here. My grandma actually gave me this dish. So we got together for Thanksgiving. That's kind of in life stuff. I'll include at the end, but she gave me this dish. So I'll have to talk more about that at the end. I'll put it aside here so I don't forget, but I am loving it. It's so pretty. The next thing though is a start, because of course I had to get on move into my next small, and my next small is also from that Blackbird Designs Sewing Club book. And I am stitching this one 1/2 on 36 count. This is a Stitch Me fabric, and I think I've got the name here. Yeah, this is the Stitch Me Sand Dollar. I don't know how well that's going to show up, but Sand Dollar by Stitch Me. And this one I've had to pull a couple of extra flosses because it is definitely a little bit more of an involved piece. It's a drum, so I'll try to find a finished picture of this if I can find one, because the pictures inside the book are not always the best. The unfortunate part is with the booklet that if it's a drum finish, you don't always get the full flat layout, so you don't get a grasp for what the whole piece is gonna look like. But I did pull a couple of the called for, like Baked Apple and Brick by Weeks Dye Works, which are just some nice reds. I felt like these already tied in with the existing color palette. I used Sable in the last one, which is the classic Colorworks. Calico Kitty is another pink I have pulled in and out. Piney Woods is a green I've pulled in and out. Endive is another green I've used a ton across these smalls. And Cinnamon Toast was one of the pinks I used for that that bird finish, the blue one. So I've just been pulling from that same little palette. And then when I'm not using them or I'm exchanging for a different kind of little pack of colors, I've been using this dish to keep the colors contained. But I decided to start this little drum. And if you watched my whip parade, you already saw this one. And I didn't actually, I don't think I did at least, get any more progress on it. But here is my start on this one. I'm not sure if I'm just gonna do the little pillow here and then just complete off the other side with like a fabric finish. So what I'm saying is essentially the pillow would be this, and then it would stop here. I would do a little decorative stitch and then it would go into fabric. So I'm debating if I want to do that or if I want to stitch this full drum. I'm just not sure yet, haven't decided, but I'll decide of course as I get further into stitching this motif. But it's just a really pretty little basket, and I think it'll pair nicely with the pillows that I've already made. I also have a couple of pillows that are already finished behind me that some of my girlfriends have made for me, and one of them is this really beautiful pillow that my friend Elizabeth over at Fizzy Stitches did for me, and I feel like that pillow is going to tie really nicely with this one. Reason being is it's that beautiful just 1/2, you know, 36/40 count stitching. So I feel like that delicateness definitely comes through. Whereas my other pieces, although I don't think it necessarily matters in the grand scheme, you know, when you have them all popped up together, I don't think it's going to be like, oh, some of those are on 32 count and some of them are not. I don't think you'll notice, but you know, for me up close and stitching them, I do. So yeah, I've just got this little tiny start here and I love it. It's really cute. This is actually a piece that I did start a different small on in the past, but I decided I wanted to make the colors a little bit more personalized. So I've UFO'd this project and I'm gonna restart it with some blacks and grays and kind of more toned down colors, more myself. But yeah, isn't that pretty? It's just gonna be a nice little pillow. Also very satisfying. Within this little bunch, I have actually used up an entire skein of endive. I think I'd already cut into this skein, so I think it was probably only a half skein that was left on here, but I did completely finish one, so that's always fun, you know. The next piece is the only whip that I actually worked on for the past 2 weeks, which I know is absolutely crazy. I think I have a picture of where I was last, so I'll pop it on the screen if I do, but this is Lucy Calcutt 1826. This is an absolutely beautiful sampler, and I can't put it down, guys. I don't know what's wrong with me. I mean, I guess nothing is wrong with me because it's a good thing to actually get progress on a big piece like this. And I do actually want to hopefully finish this next year. We'll see. We'll see. That's a big, big maybe. But I do have lots of goals in mind for next year, so I'll definitely share those. I don't know if I'll share them in this video. Maybe I'll make it a separate video. You guys will have to let me know if you want to see like a finishes of 2025 and a goals video, maybe mixed together. I've never done a finishing video just because I feel like, you know, you guys see what I finish throughout the year, but it is kind of fun sometimes to like watch a little recap. So, I mean, I watch them. So who's to say that people wouldn't want to watch me, but when you think about yourself, you're like, yeah, no one would want to watch that. So anyway, this one is an absolutely gorgeous piece I have been loving stitching on. I really wanted a huge sampler for my craft room. That's where we're sitting right now. Although a lot of this is going to change, I knew that I wanted a huge red house sampler. I love bright red, like the color I'm wearing. Shout out to the Warner Bros. 1997 sweatshirt that I got thrifting. This is a good find, right? I love like 90s crew necks, and it's usually hard to find them not with a messed up collar, so pretty excited. Anyway, I digress. I got a little sidetracked there. I knew I loved this sampler, knew I loved the piece, and I wanted this beautiful bright red house. Actually, upon reflection though, with my fabric choice, which I chose 40 count avocado, which is just this beautiful, really kind of yellowy tan, almost a greeny based, because you know how gold can almost lean to green? It gives me those kind of vibes. I have a super bright light on me right now, so it's probably washing out a bit, but it is definitely a nice warm golden color, that kind of green gold, and it's a beautiful neutral. And I wanted that kind of contrast of the bright red house on there, but when I went to pull the DMC color, I felt like it just wasn't bright enough. So I did go ahead and make the change to DMC 921, or sorry, 321. Yeah, I made the change to DMC 321, and it has brightened up the house significantly, and I absolutely love it. I think it's just so fun. So here is where I have gotten to. I just absolutely love this piece. I think it's amazing. I think the DMC 321 looks fantastic. I filled in this whole roof line up here. I did all of these window panes, so like the little crosses are in the windows now. And I am currently working on this window down here. I've almost finished completing filling in this window here, but obviously I will just kind of go back and forth and filling in the white. I did need a little bit of a break from working on the house though, and I did pull it out one morning and I decided to stitch this motif that's next to the house, which is this beautiful pink with this lovely green kind of leaf design encasing it, which is pretty common for samplers, I feel. It's a common motif. A downside to this is I pulled the DMC to look and get this one going. The DMC color for the leaves was exactly the color of my fabric. It was that like goldeny, yellowy, or like that golden green, you know? And so I did have to go ahead and swap out the leaf color here, which I should be able to carry out continuously swapping that throughout the project to an overdyed floss, which is endive. I have a ton of skeins of that in stash because I UFO'd a project that I had ordered like 5 or 6 skeins of that color for, and I'd never known what I was going to use it for. It is a great green though. That's a classic Colorworks, and it has a nice variegation. I thought it still gave that kind of golden green, but also gave me a little bit more of the green variegation. So that's why you'll see that my leaves do have a little bit of a variegation. And then I did go ahead and pull an overdyed floss for the actual main stick of the vine as well, just because. And then the pink, same reasoning, I just felt like pulling it overdyed. So I pulled Antique Rose, which is also a classic Colorworks. I think that the main post is Piney Woods. I just kind of pulled colors that I already had out. I didn't have Antique Rose out, but I pulled that DMC and I didn't have it floss dropped. And I literally was so lazy I didn't want to floss drop it. So I was like, all right, let me just go ahead and not do that, and I'll pull the closest colored overdye that I have. So I've been diving into my color and cottons and my weeks and my classic Colorworks a lot. So I just pulled from stash. And it's nice because all those are already on floss cards. They're already floss dropped, ready for me to pull and start stitching. So it was only out of sheer laziness that I made those changes. And one of them was actually intentional, but the other one's not so much. So yeah, I've just been making the changes as I go, and I have been writing them down. I have like the world's tiniest handwriting on this for some reason. but I have been making the adjustments. But I really like it so far. I think it's been a fun one. It's super cute. I love the colors. I guess I shouldn't say cute because it's not like, oh, this is so cutesy. Like, no, it's beautiful. It's an absolutely beautiful stitch, and I'm really excited about getting this one finished. So yeah, that is my only other whip. If that is all you guys wanted to stick around for, thank you so much for watching. I know it was a short one this time around, but hopefully I get more stitching done in the next couple of weeks since I don't have any like huge videos to film that are gonna take a long time. Whip braids always just take a long time. It's like a multiple day process for me, just with the ironing alone and then multiple days of editing and then filming is a whole day as well. So yeah, sorry I don't have that much, but if you did stick around, leave me a little leave me like a Christmas themed emoji to match my little Christmas themed sweater. I've got my Tweety Bird, my Bugs Bunny, the Tasmanian Devil, love it. But if you do want to stick around for life stuff, then thank you so much for sticking around to life stuff. So first of all, I wanted to share this little dish. I thought this was so cool. My grandma gave this to me. She's like, you know, a woman of a certain age, and she's kind of parting ways with some of her treasures, and she had messaged me on Facebook and told me like she wanted to give me some of her, you know, really precious things. But she passed down to me this vase, which was one, it's like my 4th great grandmother back. This was hers. It's a little crystal vase and it's perfect for my flosses, so I absolutely love it. It also perfectly fits my little stork scissors, which are my favorite kind of scissors. So I love this. It's so pretty. I feel really, really lucky to have like a little treasure like this. And then she also passed down this same great grandmother. She passed down, so my grandmother now has her wedding dishes, which she hand painted. So she has her dishes from her wedding. There's only a few of them left, of course, but she has like the main platter, a couple of the plates, actually a few of the plates, and my grandma passed them down to me. I feel extraordinarily blessed to receive those, and they're in my kitchen in like the kitty corner cabinet that has a really deep backing, and it has like the glass front so that you're supposed to store your fancy dishes in it, you know? So I put them in there. She passed down to me a probably like 50s, 60s Norwegian tea set with a couple of teapots for that, a Martha Washington like replica of her teapot, which was really cool. A lot of that stuff I'm actually going to incorporate into the shelves in my craft room, and then the dishes that my ancestor hand painted, I actually want to hang them up on the wall, but I want my husband to help me with that because I don't want them to fall. They're so precious to me, so in like just there's no value to that, you know, like to be able to have pieces of my own history, my own maternal history is so valuable to me, and I can't believe that I have them. She also gave me the wedding invitation from like 1907 or 1917. I can't remember what year they got married, but one of those years. So I have one of the original wedding invitations, and I would love to frame that as well and put up the dishes next to it. So I want to incorporate that in here on this back wall, but I'm gonna have Daniel help me mount them to the wall with like the proper tools that are needed so that they can never fall in case there's any kind of, you know, any kind of disaster here. I want them to be safe. So yeah, I'm super excited about that, super stoked. I think that'll be fun. I'll have, of course, you know, once I'm done in the craft room, I'll show you guys more of it and you'll be able to see all these little things. Daniel and I, though, I guess I shouldn't say Daniel and I, Daniel, my husband, he did it all by himself. He finished the actual, like, the backing. So we are doing the Billy bookcase hack for a built-in bookcase, which is significantly cheaper than building them yourselves. I will say the Billy bookcase hack is still going to run you like a couple $1,000s, yes, but that is extraordinarily affordable in comparison to building the shelves yourself. One of the things that we did though to make the bookcases just look a little bit nicer is by replacing the beadboard on the back of the bookcases with the thicker 1/2 inch, or maybe it was just 3/4 inch, the MDF board. So he picked up all the sheets of those, he cut them down to size, got them all screwed in really well with like, you know, one of those little guns. I don't know what any of this stuff is called. And so those are really secured. Now they're all fixed to the wall, and the like main framework for the top and bottom, which has been done, now like serves its purpose of holding up the cases themselves. And they're all also built. One of them was not built previously, so that got built this weekend. He did all that this weekend, so he got a ton done, which is really nice. And then my mother-in-law, my brother-in-law, and then his girlfriend all came over and hung out all day Saturday as well, because we had a bunch of stuff in the garage that they needed to come and pick up. That was like Jesse's stuff, my father-in-law who's passed away. And so they come and picked up a bunch of their things, and that's really nice. We're getting some space back in our garage because we have a 3-car garage, but pretty much an entire bay of it was taken up. So slowly, you know, getting through that stuff, which is really nice. And yeah, building the bookcases. They should be, hopefully, I really wanted them to be done this month, but I don't see that happening. We have a Christmas party this weekend, which is in a couple days. And, you know, there's holiday stuff for Amira. So then as well, poor Amira, my daughter who's 7, she got an ear infection. And so she stayed home from school for a couple of days. Then that same day that she was home from school, Malachi got sick and was throwing up everywhere. No idea what was wrong with him. So yeah, it's been a busy couple of weeks. Like, it feels like there was no stitching done. Like, I don't even know how I finished that small or when I finished it, because it seems like all the days are so jumbled. But there's a lot of doctor visits, a lot of medicine forced to take. My daughter's really good about taking medicine, my son not so much. And I did have to take him to the doctor, and he did not like his antibiotics, but it is what it is. So anyway, they're all on the mend, doing much better. And we went to like a movie night with Amira. Well, I took Amira to the movie night, and Daniel stayed home with Malachi. But I took Amira to a little Grinch viewing that they had at their school, which was fun. And yeah, we've just been busy, you know? It's that time. And I mean, I know a lot of you guys feel it too. It's just that season, but I'm trying to stay consistent here and get these videos up and out. And you know, it's just an enjoyable thing. It's just an enjoyable part of my life to be able to like film, get it out there, be able to actually interact with people who enjoy cross stitch and love it. And it's a huge hobby. And you know, it's just like, I don't know, it kind of takes my mind off of all the holiday chaos, all the Christmas stuff and everything else, and all the new spelling words of the week and this and that, you know. It's just, it's my way to like escape and relax. So it's been a good time, but I think that really is everything. I've got my little shelf update, which I'm so ecstatic about, because honestly, I couldn't even use this room. I obviously have stacks of my books everywhere, because if you guys have been watching for a while, you'll remember my bookcases in the background that used to be behind me. I don't have them any longer. They are now dispersed to other areas in the house. My daughter has the largest one in her room for her bookcase, or her little library. And my son has a small one as a storage for extra quilts that are his and extra little toys upstairs. But this room, there's just stacks and stacks of books. And on top of that, there was an entire table in here that had like a bunch of supplies on it for building and stuff like that. And so now it's cleared out and I can actually like craft in here again. But I know that that won't be for long, because there'll be another like full couple of weekends of Daniel being in here getting work done. But yeah, I did, you know, got that done, did a couple of holiday events with the kids. Kids have been in and out of being sick and in and out of school and doctors and all that. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I've got a doctor's appointment coming up as well, which I'm actually very excited about, because I've been having joint issues for a while now. And so I'm hoping to kind of get that all figured out and see what's going on. And hopefully that means more stitching in the future, maybe less, who knows, but here's to hoping and praying for the best. And I hope you guys are having a good holiday season. I know the holidays are always hard, so whether you celebrate or you don't, I hope that you are at peace with whatever that choice is. But I will catch you guys next time, because I think that's really it. All right, bye guys.